have been faced and where claims have come to the insurance companies. I think what I must admit myself is that I myself have received uh, emails from my CEO asking me to transfer certain funds to either his account or somebody else's account. But I think, fortunately, when we are aware, I think the awareness comes only when somebody else has already faced that kind of a threat. I think that kind of a learning has to be there, whether it is our own internal incidents which are happening, then we have to keep enriching or keep updating our database and the knowledge, as well as we have to also learn from others if something else has happened at some other organization. That doesn't mean I am really insulated from it, and I may also be tomorrow exposed to the same kind of an attack. So with this, when I am looking at Allianz incidents, I think majority of the frauds are happening in the financial sector and the retail sector. Majority of the reasons in terms of data have been the laptops or the mobile devices, as well as means fraudulent employees. So I think when we are looking at the overall insurance payout also, most of it is going towards the defense costs and some kind of a regulatory restoration cost in terms of informing policyholder. So I think the money is also going in completely different ways. So I think all this, of course, with a lot of IT security and the kind of frameworks coming in, cyber insurance is also going to play. That is going to be one of the ways to mitigate your liability or some of your risks, but that is also not going to make you, or that is not going to level up your data loss or whatever important information or asset you have.
I see a huge opportunity for collaboration between cybercrime and cyber insurance. One fellow can commit the crime and the other fellow can give insurance. Yeah, Ashish, I believe there is a new standard or a framework issued by ISACA on IoT. There is a new standard, new framework. I think we need to work more on that. Yeah, white paper.
Right. Yeah. It's a. So I thought more as sort of closing comment on what he said. If you really look at it at this point of time, better? So if you really look at it at this point of time, there is a word now we call as attack surface. What does that mean? You had traditional methods of banking, you had traditional methods of distribution, you had traditional ways of approaching your clients. Touch points have increased. When touch points have increased, because of digitization, because of using internet as a medium, you suddenly started kind of getting more exposed to the threats that we are all talking about till this point in time. So overall, our attack surface in terms of how many methods that I can actually get exposed is increasing. Now, from an organization point of view, very clearly, that's a stage where when you asked a question, is organization really doing something about it? Let me put it the other way around. If organization would not have the confidence that they are able to guard against that, a bank cannot come for a video banking. A bank cannot come out for an approach of using Twitter as your source of banking transaction. A bank cannot, or for that matter, when Mr. Chaudhary is talking about cyber insurance. Now, he is no more looking at you and your exposure as an organization only in terms of the regular insurance requirements. He's also looking at what is the risk of cyber threat to you as an organization. Depending upon that, I now start looking at what premium I need to charge. So automatically, if these were the vectors coming out and these were the sort of threat surfaces that we were talking about, organizations have to do it. I'll give a last spin to it. As what we typically keep talking about, a car does not need brakes because you want it to stop. A car needs brakes because you want to drive it faster. And that's exactly what organizations are doing. You have the ability to use cyber security and tools and methods to really be more aggressive in the market and come up with products which are ever new, that really improves your presence and your connect to the end customer. So I look at cybersecurity not just as a threat perception, but also an opportunity to create new markets, new ways and means of reaching out to your customer.
This is becoming chai pe charcha. So one last one for you, Vittal. What is the one thing one thing you want to tell to this audience. One thing.
Now, this is going to be a little not welcome. But I think we are getting to that. Can I draw one more analogy quickly?
Yeah.
Now, you know, get married, you go and pray, we want a kid, we want a kid, we want a kid, and, you know, the more it get delays, you more want it so badly. And then God gives you that kid you wanted. But it's not that kid you wanted, because you didn't describe what kind of kid you wanted. You said, I want a kid. And you get one troublesome, little nasty fellow. Then you say, Bhagavan, why did you give me this kid? So IT is like this, you know. One, you have been asking before. I mean, let's imagine we withdraw all IT from this world. Do you think you can live anymore? I mean, you cannot even, I mean, forget about you, your kids. You take away the iPad and then see what happens in your home. It's all hell break loose, agree or no? Your kid will run away just because of your iPad, you pulled it away, right? So, we are now come to a kind of scenario wherein IT has done beautiful things for us. And IT is doing greater things for us. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But it's like, how do you handle this troublesome kid? It comes with that particular aspect of itself. So there are only two ways of doing that. One, you say, oh my goodness, these standards, or put in all that, put him in a lock. That's not going to work. I think we got to now get back into rethinking on not just implementing an ISO 27001, because believe me, I don't know how many of you get to the core of the IT department and how they handle ISO 27001 exercises. कब आ रहा है सर्वेलेंस वाला ऑडिटर? ठीक है, कल तक तुम्हारा फॉर्म भर देंगे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? This is how it is dealt with. So I think you have to really engage a conversation with them and ask them, make them owners and say, hey guys, what do you think we need to do on security and what do you think is not required? And if there is a practical sense about it, it has to come through a dialogue, it has to come through a workshop, and once we understand that there is absolute buy-in, it is his baby to control that control. I think that's the only way it's going to work. Otherwise, the boardroom can keep on pushing in as much of stuff down the line. They would also comply happily, but that happiness would not relate into joy. So that's what the problem is. I think that's where we have to go.
Thank you so much. Thanks, much appreciated. A big cheer to all of them. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. And the control goes back to Chandan, who will hopefully cool us.